No.
All right, welcome back to another School Principal Reacts. This is Brandon, and I'm taking a look at an episode of The Simpsons today. It has been quite a long time since I've taken a look at this. You can look back at my Simpsons playlist and see some of the things that I've done in the past. This video is a bit different. It was requested by new Principal's Office level channel member Riker Ellis Animates, among a few other people that have mentioned this episode in the past. I don't know what it's about exactly. I see Principal Skinner and Lisa looking at something here. They look like they're investigating something or trying to figure something out. I don't know, but there's one way to find that out. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, go ahead and become one by clicking the button below. I do appreciate it. Let's get into this episode. That's different. Definitely different.
Previously on 24. I mean The Simpsons.
So this one is taking a completely different style than your typical intro of The Simpsons, and the narrator even says 24. I mean The Simpsons. And I've never seen that particular show. I do know about it. I do know the premise of it as far as the timeline per episode. Pretty different than your normal show, but this is going to take on a completely different feel, I see. Let's keep going.
Behold, our new state-of-the-art weapon in the global war against misbehavior, CTU, the counter-truancy unit.
And he calls it the global war on misbehavior. That's pretty funny. The CTU, the counter-truancy unit, which, you know, truancy is a real thing. Most states have state laws about truancy, which are enforced at the local level. Truancy basically means that you're out of school for a certain number of days that is considered truant by law, meaning you've now technically broken the law. Some places are quite strict about that, and parents can even be fined for that. I've heard of that, although I've never worked in a place where they actually did that. But school districts do follow up on that as far as phone calls and even visits to people's houses if the students just up and disappear for a certain period of time. Truancy is a real thing. Now, I've never seen what Skinner is describing here, the counter-truancy unit with a big door and everything like that. Not quite, but let's keep going.
I've got something.
Head hall monitor.
The sixth grade security camera shows 3 empty desks.
Enhance. Dehance.
Mama's boy.
I ran the attendance protocols. Here are your 3 missing students.
This is pretty funny. I see that this is going to be like this in the style of the show 24, which I know enough about the show to know what the style is, although I've never really seen it too much. Just ads for it, and I've heard people talk about it. But attendance reports, not like this, but other types of attendance reports do exist where you might look at a list of students and how many days they've missed, and then find out what the problem is, make calls, the home visits, whatever you need to do depending on what the student's issue is. Let's see what they do with this information. So I see some of the episode is not going to focus on the school part. I'm going to just focus on the school scenes of this episode.
Simpson!
All right, wow, that's pretty bold. So Bart puts ketchup and mustard all over the walls. That's really bold. That's like that. The consequence for that would be pretty heavy, even in an elementary school setting, which Bart and Lisa are in. And he's now running away from Skinner. I've never seen anything even close to this happen in real life, but let's keep going. Ugh, it's so gross. Ugh.
No.
That's pretty funny. So he slides right. He kind of hurts himself, and that's one of the reasons, the many reasons you don't do that. And he's in detention. And I have seen, not so much recently, but I have seen the windows that have, not quite to this extent, but, you know, the little black lines that intersect each other, and they almost do crisscross like this, and it says detention. I've mentioned before, I don't see a lot of places, I don't know if I've ever seen a school that has a room that says detention on it. Now, do schools have detention? Yeah, I think it's sort of disappearing in favor of other consequences for students that need some help. But it does still happen, but it's just a random classroom usually, or whatever classroom is available for them to have detention in. But now he's in detention, which, really, considering what Bart just did, seems pretty generous. But if it's during the school day, this would almost be like an in-school suspension. But let's see what comes from this.
The school's having a bake sale today at 3 o'clock. I promised them a cake. I've only got 27 minutes.
Oh, boy.
The preheat is on.
And this does happen, by the way. What I mean is parents that find things out at the very last minute, or in this case, the last half hour or whatever it was, and you get these crumpled up pieces of paper, more commonly in students' book bags, that just are sort of left there, and the student was supposed to give that to their parent and they just didn't, and then the parent finds out at the last second. That does happen many times before. Usually it's not a bake sale. Usually it's either maybe a permission slip for a field trip or some event of some kind that's happening, maybe a bake sale, but maybe a parent meeting of some kind. But she's gonna still try to come through for Bart, I guess.
The following takes place between 2:34 p.m. and 3:04 p.m.
Goodness.
Or maybe it's a.m. Whichever one is the morning one. It's not that one.
Let's spit in the coffee pots. I call hazelnut.
Truants moving into the Quickie Mart. I've got a visual.
Oh, goodness. And this is funny. I'm kind of struggling to figure out, okay, is this real? Like, is this really supposed to be happening at Springfield Elementary, or is this a show within a show kind of thing? And Milhouse says, 3 truants, which, the unfortunate thing is I do see this in real life. In other words, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 people that are all supposed to be someplace else, but are just sort of walking around town and doing whatever they want. I have seen that before, unfortunately, but now apparently they're on camera, and I don't know how Lisa has access to like the convenience store's camera. That doesn't make too much sense, but let's see what happens here.
Yogurt is toxic. It's just what we've been looking for.
We've got what we need. Milhouse, bring them in.
Roger
Bring
that.
them in.
Wait, Milhouse, hold your position.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, Milhouse is like half their size, and he puts on this little hall monitor sash, which I see that in shows. I've never seen it in real life. Honestly, I've just never seen it in real life. Maybe it's more of an elementary school thing, which, again, I have limited experience with elementary school. Most of my experience has been middle school and high school. But you've got this little sash, and he's going to somehow bring them in. I'm not sure how he's supposed to do that, but okay.
Something doesn't add up. Look what the bullies could have stolen. A take-a-penny tray with the quarter in it. So why steal the yogurt? We have to find out what they're up to.
Milhouse, change of plan. Observe and follow.
Permission to buy a Hostess fruit pie to keep my strength up?
Denied.
And so they've got this yogurt. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but Skinner would not care about that if this were in any way real. I mean, they wouldn't go to these kind of lengths, number one. And number two, all he would care about is them getting back into school. As far as anything they're not supposed to do outside of that, that's the police. I mean, Skinner would not concern himself with that, or at least he shouldn't.
Hey, Milhouse, who are you spying on? Those bullies?
Homer. That's awful.
What about the fat guy?
Hey, lay off. You're the fat one of you guys.
I'm bulking up for football.
I'm still alive. You call that playing to win?
Oh, man.
I've lost Milhouse.
He'll be somewhat missed.
That's horrible. Field agents, he called them, and they just throw Homer and Milhouse in the dumpster, and ironically it gets cleaned up, but that's just funny.
Principal Skinner, you know we have only one agent who stands a chance with those bullies.
Is it Bart?
My brother.
He's going to try and
If I help
recruit
you,
him.
I want full immunity for all pranks, past and future.
No deal.
Okay, suit yourself. It's not like you have any major events coming up that the bullies would want to disrupt.
The bake sale.
Principal Skinner.
Needless to say, none of this should be happening. Skinner should not be trying to recruit Bart or involve himself in any of this. This is totally ridiculous, all of it, but it is sort of funny. I've never heard of anything remotely like this taking place. These sorts of conversations don't take place.
The annual bake sale provides 90% of the school's funding.
Okay, you have a deal.
Sweet. Now I'm gonna need some wheels.
Yes, of course. I think
Wheels.
we can wrangle you a used bicycle. Do you prefer Schwinn or Huffy? Bart? Where did he... My car keys!
Oh, this is getting serious. So he steals Skinner's car? That's sort of hard to believe. I'm not sure what grade Bart is supposed to be in. I want to say like fourth, maybe third or fourth. I remember one of the previous episodes I reacted to, I think it was Bart Gets an F, which is kind of touching, actually. If you want to check it out, check out my Simpsons playlist that this episode will now be on. I think he's supposed to be in fourth. I've never seen a fourth grader attempt to drive a car. I'm sure it's happened somewhere at some time, but that's pretty hard to believe. This entire episode is really, really, really tough to believe, but it is pretty funny. And I don't know if they do that with the two different frames and two different shots going on at the same time in the show 24. I'm guessing that's part of their style also.
Lisa, they're gonna put a stink bomb in the school. I might be able to stop them, but I'll need a schematic of Jimbo's house.
Jimbo drew a couple of pictures of his house in 2nd grade.
That's pretty funny. So a couple of things. So Bart evidently finds out that they're going to put a stink bomb in somewhere in the school during the bake sale event. So unfortunately, I have heard of that before and even seen something similar to that happen with stinky items that people put. Now, that can get you in a lot of trouble. Really anything that can be considered disrupting the school, which is a lot of different things. And I would say that definitely qualifies, can get students in a lot of trouble. And he asks for a schematic of Jimbo's house. And I'm like, how is she going to get that? If she pulls that up, this is totally not even real at all. But she says... She says that he drew a picture of his house in 2nd grade, which you can see here. And so I don't know how they're going to meaningfully use this little child's drawing to do something, but that is pretty funny. Look at how serious she's taking this, and then look at the picture. That's pretty funny.
But I can't vouch for their accuracy. The teacher gave him a frowny face.
I'm so proud of us.
Okay.
You got Jimbo.
They're on to you, Jimbo. Get out of there.
Uh-oh.
Scrambled eggs would be lovely for breakfast, Mother.
Oh, Martin. Martin's helping them, and I wonder why. I thought he was on Skinner's side there, and he is trying to tip them off as far as them being on to them. I wonder if they're going to change their plans here. This is getting interesting.
Thanks, Mole. Now make your split screen vanish.
Will do.
Where's the roller coaster room and the shark tank?
So Jimbo's drawings contain, things that a kid might draw. He's like, these schematics were all wrong. Where's the roller coaster room and the shark tank? Because he drew, that's just what he happened to draw that he imagined was inside his house. And they're treating it like an absolute fact that this is what his house is like. That's pretty funny. Slingshot.
They're gone.
We are projecting an effective stink radius farther than any of us can kick a kickball.
Sir, we have to call off this bake sale now.
Which this is pretty funny because in a show like 24, you might be trying to foil some sort of explosion of some sort. They're talking about a stink radius. That's pretty funny. And they're talking about whether to cancel the event. But isn't the event about to happen, like right then? I did have a hard time changing plans, and I thought that this was in the span of like 30 minutes. I guess it is, although there seems like a lot to be happening in that short amount of time.
Although, The basketball hoops have been retracted. DJ Fun Times has already cashed his deposit, and Superintendent Chalmers won't be happy to hear...
I won't be happy to hear what, Seymour?
Oh,
that bake sale revenue projections are through the roof.
I'm very happy to hear that. You don't know me at all.
and he said something about the basketball goals being retracted, which is just funny. You wouldn't necessarily have to do that for a bake sale, but maybe if it's in the gym, if you don't know what he's talking about, a lot of school gyms have those basketball goals that like go up into the ceiling or towards the ceiling. And yeah, I guess you might do that if it's easy to do that. A lot of schools, it's not easy to do that, so they just leave them down all the time, no matter what. But he's sort of going through the planning actions that he's already taken in order to prepare for this bake sale, including the basketball goals. And yeah, you might want to do that. He mentioned the DJ gave him some silly name that's already cashed his check. And, you know, yeah, that may well have happened, although a lot of schools may hire a DJ for an event, but not usually a bake sale. But if you did have a DJ, you would probably hang on to that check until the event happens. And then maybe while the event's going on, you give them their payment, but not beforehand usually.
Martin, run a top-down search of the school security grid.
Will do. And you chose the perfect person.
Not really.
The stink bomb. I can't let anyone see it.
Martin, anything?
I wish. This is as boring as mainstream cinema.
Okay. And I'm wondering, why is he helping the bullies? That's something I'm not sure about. Did they promise him something or threaten him in some way? He seems to be their inside man here. About 10 minutes. The cake. He's trying to get there on time. The dumpster flying down the road. Bart. 5 minutes. What in the world? And if no one noticed that those are actually students just because they're wearing little white uniforms, that is an absolute failure. This school should know all of their students and be able to recognize them instantly, no matter what they're wearing, so that's pretty far-fetched. Even in a bigger school, someone's going to know those students personally or remember seeing them around. I mean, they go there every day, so that's pretty ridiculous, but let's see what happens at this bake sale. I'm really curious to see how this resolves. Oh no.
My cake!
Oh no. No. That's pretty disgusting. Ventilation room.
They're gonna wish the bake sale was a
Ventilation
nose
room.
plug sale.
I've never seen that ever, particularly with a sign that says ventilation room like that, but I'm guessing they're going to shove this thing in the AC system somehow. I mean, schools do have utility rooms and electrical and HVAC and all of those things, of course, but I've never seen a room quite like this that's labeled that way. Let's keep going.
Teens in Willie's hidey hole.
I have heard stories and even experienced for myself at previous schools, a few people that, let's say, liked to disappear and go into the janitor's closet just to sort of hide and pass the time. I have heard of that before, unfortunately, and seen it for myself. Uh-oh.
We have a fire alarm in the
alarm.
ventilation room.
I'll check it out.
Oh, boy. What's everybody else doing?
Skip to my loo. Top of the morning, Nelson.
And to you, Martin.
Skip to my loo, my darling.
Okay, if the fire alarm is going off, everybody in that entire building should be going outside. Even if there is an event like that going on, they wouldn't just keep standing there and just send Martin to deal with whatever it is. No, everybody in the school would be dealing with it, including Principal Skinner. I'm wondering where he's at right now.
Martin just skipped past you singing Skip to My Lou, and you did nothing.
Can a guy enjoy a catchy tune? Whoa!
Is Martin working for Jimbo?
Yes!
Lisa, are you on a secure line?
I am. You're on a Bluetooth cell phone, the most vulnerable device known to man.
But it looks so cool. Listen, there's a mole inside CTU.
A mole?
Yes, a mole. Now, I don't have much time, so I'm just gonna come right out and say his name. So get ready to know his name. His name is the following.
Oh!
What? Oh, man, that's awful. And a French horn, of all things. That's pretty crazy. All right, the bake sale.
Rice Krispie treats? Way to phone it in, Sarah Wiggum.
Excuse me, I'm in the sale. I'm in the sale.
Oh, boy.
Okay, I kept my end of the deal. Release my friends. Oh, here, from Asimov to Zarathustra.
I guess somehow I missed that, so that's his motivation for helping them. His ant farm, that's pretty bad. If he was willing to go to those links just for that, that's horrible.
Where's Phobos?
He's with us now.
Oh, goodness.
We're out of here. Smell you later. 3 minutes later, to be exact.
What have I done?
Okay, uh-oh. Bring it through the building.
Raisin cake. Who
Yep, they're
wants
in the gym.
raisin cake? Don't worry, it's not too moist.
That looks absolutely awful. And remember, Marge dropped it in the parking lot, so I don't know if that's little bits of concrete in it. I hope no one buys that thing.
That's a Class 5 stench dispersal unit. We have to short out that fan.
HDW, what's that?
That's the main valve of the hot dog water recirculation system.
All right, so you've got the stench dispersal unit and the hot dog water reclamation system, or whatever he said. So they're taking these ridiculous notions and turning them into things that sound like, I guess, things that would be in the show 24. It's just hilarious.
But you and Willie will drown.
Possibly, but I can't risk Superintendent Chalmers finding out about...
Finding out about what, Seymour?
about how early press coverage of the bake sale is uniformly positive.
Once again, you have thoroughly misgauged my response. This is going on your permanent record.
So after Chalmers leaves, he has a blank face and he just takes the key out. I'm like, what is he going to unlock with that? It's the hot dog water release valve. As if that's like the most important thing in the school. That's pretty funny.
I'll be back.
What?
Look!
Oh no. Okay.
Ooh, a thermos with 7 cups of coffee still in it.
What?
Oh, wait, 6.
Dad!
Here, it's yours!
What's gonna happen
How
here?
do I stop it? Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah, I was like, okay, if this thing's counting down, like, how is she going to somehow stop it? And then there's just a big red button that says emergency cancel. Yeah, didn't see that one coming, but very convenient.
Thank goodness this crisis was averted.
Oof.
Nicely done, Lisa.
All right, so crisis averted. I really don't know what to say about that. It was pretty funny at times. Very, very over the top in classic Simpsons style. And while I've never seen the show 24, I do know what the premise of the show is as in terms of timeline. And they managed to squeeze all this into that short amount of time. Pretty funny with them kind of acting like agents and trying to foil this heist by the bullies to plant a stink bomb in the bake show. I've never seen anything happen quite like that. I have seen people put stinky stuff in places. I've also seen people get in a lot of trouble for that. that. But it's been quite a long time since something like that has happened in my experience. Once again, a big thank you to Riker Ellis Animates, Principal's Office level member, for recommending this episode, as well as others that have mentioned this over time. I'm going to leave the video right here. If you're not currently a subscriber, please click the button below to become one, and I'll see you all on the next video here on School Principal Reacts. Thanks for watching.